Welcome to Grade 5 Social Science, Chapter 8 The Egyptian Civilization. Egypt has a very long and glorious history. The civilization of ancient Egypt lasted for over 3000 years. They had a very rich culture and heritage, which gradually showed its tremendous development. Egyptian land is believed to be the land of mysteries. Mystery surrounds its origin, its religion, and monumental architecture, which includes temples, pyramids, and the enormous sphinx. Among them, the pyramids are most famous. They are also one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. The Egyptian civilization came into existence on the banks of river Nile, which flows from Central Africa into the Mediterranean Sea. And art of writing. The ancient Egypt believes that it was important to record and communicate information, therefore invented scripts. The most famous of all ancient Egyptian scripts is hierological or hieroglyphic. Hieroglyphic, which means scared writing. The pictorial writing in Egypt was special art and the writers were considered important people. Architecture and sculpture. Egyptian architecture was highly symbolic. A pyramid is a tomb, a four sided stone structure that symbolizes the sacred mountain and was constructed with the purpose of raising the human spirit towards God. The most important among them are the three pyramids of Giza. The Great Pyramid, built by Pharaoh Khufu, is the biggest among the three. 100,000 men worked continuously for 20 years to build it. Thousands of blocks of huge stones cut into different shapes are fitted carefully and skillfully. It is one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Sphinx. The Egyptians built the Sphinx, which is another marvel of their architecture. The Great Sphinx of Giza is a sculpture with a lion's body and a human's head. Carved out a single stone, it is more than 4,000 years old and most famous emblem of Egypt. Rock Temple of Rising Sun. They also built several temples near Thebes. The rock cut temple of Abu Simbel is very well known. It is called the Rock Temple of Rising Sun. The walls of temples and pyramids are decorated with beautiful paintings and pictures of human beings, animals, and birds. These paintings and pictures tell us about the life, dress, and other details of the ancient people of Egypt. Religion. The ancient Egyptian believed that it was important to recognize and worship gods for life to go on smoothly. They believed that each gods and goddesses had their own role in maintaining peace and harmony on land. Some gods and gods were creators, some brought rain and floods, some protected the people, and some took care of people after they had died. They worshipped the king Pharaoh as a god. He presided over all the religious ceremonies and festivals of the gods. He was considered as a link between mankind and God. Ra, Ra, or a sun god, was their chief god. Other gods and goddesses were Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Each god had its own temple and priest to offer prayers. Mummy. The Egyptians believed that there was life after death. The ancient Egyptians buried their dead in small pits in the desert. Later, they began burying their dead in coffins to protect them from wild animals. Eventually, they started preserving the dead bodies through the process of embalming and wrapping. These dead bodies were called mummies. The ancient Egyptians believed that mummifying a person's body after death was essential. These mummies were safely buried in tombs with all necessary things such as food, water, clothes, etc. These tombs had no doors but small holes. The Egyptian believed that through these holes the departed soul will come back to take possession of the dead body. The mummies of the kings were preserved in the pyramids of Egypt. Egyptian society. Ancient Egypt had a highly organized society. It had four distinct classes. At the top was the Egyptian king called Pharaoh. He had all the powers. He and his family enjoyed the highest estates and they lived in luxury. The second class was the nobles, priests, artists, and craftsmen. They also lived on comfortable life. The farmers and cultivators living in the villages formed the next class. The lowest class was the slaves, who were mostly prisoners taken during the wars. Craft. Crafts like pottery, spinning and weaving flax, cloth, and making glass were very advanced. There were many expert carpenters and carvers who worked on ivory, dresses, and ornaments. The people of Egypt wore lovely dresses and ornaments. Their ornaments were a headgear, and most of the women also wore wigs. Women from the upper class used puff powder paste on their face and body and coal in their eyes. Tattooing was also done extensively. Occupation. The people of Egypt were mostly farmers and craftsmen who lived in villages and towns. A few of them were nobles. The farmers grew wheat, barley, and millets. They used oxen for the fields. They also domesticated animals like goats, dog, ass, horse, and pigs. Amusements. Swimming and boating in Nile were the popular amusements of people of the Egyptian civilization. Hunting was the chief form of entertainment for pharaohs and nobles. Trade. The Egyptians grew some of their own food and traded for food items and goods that they could not produce. They also traded for glass, metal, and other products. In addition, they brought in spices, perfumes, precious stones, and rare metals from other countries. Knowledge of ancient Egyptians. The Egyptian developed the solar calendar, which was one of their greatest achievements. They divided the year into 12 months of 30 days each. The 5 days that were left were the religious celebrations and festivals. They also calculated the area of triangles and rectangles and were able to measure land. They invented the decimal system of counting and represent the numerals 1, 10, and 100 by different symbols. They learned about human body in process of making mummies and therefore made great progress in the streams of surgery and medicines. Thank you.